Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a Six of Cups, beautiful energy, beautiful card. A lot of love, a lot of light in this card. This is really a card that says, I want to achieve something. I want to be happy. I want to find fulfillment in my life. I want to have the best day of my life. We're kind of looking for these peak experiences, right? We're looking for those moments, those kind of periodic moments where our heart beats, right? Where we feel that intensity of life. I think you're somebody that really is kind of yearning for that spiritual experience, yearning for connection. Yeah. And I think you really do value your friends, your family, your pets, your plants, right? Your people. And I think that you want to have these peak experiences of connection, of meaning, of purpose. Yeah. I think that maybe in your life there have been times where you've been a little bit lonely. We didn't feel that we had the connections in life that we really wanted. I feel like you don't operate at your best when you're in that kind of a mode. I feel like you really do your best work. You feel like you are the best version of yourself when you have a very well-balanced life, one that has moments of just pure bliss and joy and connection, where you have these peak experiences, and you're sharing them with others. Right? I think you're someone that functions very, very well in a group. Maybe when you were a kid, you were the kid that didn't really like to play by yourself. Maybe there's a mixture here. I feel like you wanted to be in the group, but of course you still wanted to have your individuality. It's kind of like you wanted to play by yourself, but only in a group. So we kind of have a foot in both worlds, I think, because you're very capable of being alone, but there's just something in you that is just above and beyond when you have the right connections, when you're in the right environment. It's just a different story altogether. Let's see where this energy is going with us. This really is that sense of connection. This is really kind of living that happy life. This is the best day of your life. This is the happiest you've ever been. And I feel like we want to have more moments like this, right? Oh yeah, we do. 9 of Cups. If this is one of those moments of just absolute joy and satisfaction, fulfillment, this is kind of saying, I'm the happiest I've ever been. Then the 9 of Cups is kind of saying, tomorrow is going to be that way too. And the next day, and the next day, and the next. This is the happiness that keeps on happening, right? That every day is kind of better than the last. That every day is going to be that peak experience. Every day is the happiest I've ever been. Right? So it keeps going up and up and up. This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. This is superabundance. This is fulfillment and satisfaction on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative planes. This is everything you've always wanted. This is living the life that you've always wanted to live. It's not about having the thing. It's not about, you have a desire and then you go and you fulfill the desire. Well, I want ice cream. I have ice cream. Okay, I'm satisfied, right? My craving's going to come back, This is living a life where everything we do is geared toward a deeper experience, a deeper fulfillment, a deeper sense of connection, both with ourselves and our work and the people around us. 6 and a 9 of Cups. This is really, really good. What else is going on? What's underneath the surface? Another 6. 6 of Swords. There's this growing realization that's going to happen for you that everything seems to be going according to plan, right? The 6s are all about harmony, right? And beauty, recognizing beauty, recognizing the blessings that we have, being in harmony with the process of change. So when we see a 6 of Swords, we think this is the divine plan. This is the blueprint of your perfect life, right? But we remember that it's also harmony with change. So what it really is when things don't quite work out the way we expected them to, when things do not go according to plan, that's all part of the plan. Okay? And so there's always this sneaky smile on your face because everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Even if in that moment it's like, you lose something or you break something or your day got rained out, right? Those still give you a little sense of satisfaction because it's all part of the divine plan. Okay? It's all part of it. This is really optimistic energy. This is really connected, really beautiful, happy, harmonious energy. And I want to see where it's where it's coming from. It's coming from the Lover's energy. It's coming from a union. It's coming from maybe a decision that you've made to live a life that is more in line with spirit, that is more in tune with the divine. Okay? The Lover's card, this could be the idea of self-love. This could be that moment in your recent past where you really fell in love with yourself again in a deep spiritual way. Right? Radical self-love here. It's that decision it's the decision to do that. Okay? And I feel like as much as it's the decision, we see the little Cupid at the top here shooting the arrow. I think that this makes us aware of the choices that we make. Okay? Because if you look closely at that card, that little Cupid, that arrow's up there, that arrow doesn't really look like it's going to hit anything. It looks like it might just go right in between things. Actually, it might go into the egg, and that's a different mystery altogether, right? But we have to think if that arrow is going to hit anything or not, which means we're making decisions that are either inspired by our love for the world, our love for ourselves, our connection with God, Goddess, deity, or not, right? So sometimes we would make choices that we kind of know are not the best choices for us. We know that we're not living in harmony with the process of change. We're not living in harmony with the divine will, the will of God, whatever you want to call it. But you know when you are, too. And so I think that there's a decision that's been made in you to always follow that divine will. Your own will, your connection and understanding of what Spirit is leading you toward. And when we're making decisions based on that kind of gnosis, that kind of connection with the divine realm, even when things don't work out the way, in the most, let's say, pleasant way, we don't despair because we were following the will of God, Goddess, deity, the universe, ourselves, the flow of energy, the Tao, whatever you want to call it. We are following that energy. Our choices are inspired by that energy, and therefore, everything is perfect. Everything is as it should be. Okay? So in other words, the pleasant or unpleasant results of our actions are not really our fault when we are following that correct intention. Okay? Because there are things outside of our control. And as long as you're making the best choice that you can, the most connected choice of which you're capable, then you don't have to be so affected by the pleasant or unpleasant results of those choices. Okay, now I'm not trying to absolve you of any kind of responsibility. No. You still have the karma. right? But you're following what we feel to be that divine law for ourselves, following the spiritual blueprint, the will of God, goddess, deity, the universe, the Tao, whatever it is, right? And if you are following the Tao, all of your choices are correct. It doesn't absolve you of the responsibility and the karma of those choices, though, okay? And I think that's very important. Up here we've got the Emperor. So yeah, you're not, everything comes back to you. The buck stops with you, right? And you realize that, but you're the Emperor. And now the Emperor kind of tries to make the best decisions possible. And really, it kind of is like you give out these orders, you make the decisions. Well, if things don't work out the right way, or the other people that you maybe have given the orders to, let's say all of the Emperor's, I don't know, assistants or executive people, the whatever they are, if those people don't do things the right way, or they don't make the right decisions, it's not really your fault, because you were doing the right thing, but you still are the ultimate one responsible for it. Does that make sense? So if you are the Emperor, you're responsible for everything else in that kind of way. You still have to deal with the effects of your decisions, even if you had the best intentions. It doesn't absolve you. And I think you have this real kind of creative energy about you. I kind of feel with the Emperor that we're trying to really, it's almost like you're trying to do everything. I feel like you're trying to almost reinvent the wheel here in a way. Okay. It feels as if you've maybe started from scratch somewhere again, or you redid something, you started over, or we kind of scrapped something, we're rebuilding it up from the ground, making all the right decisions now. Because maybe it's something, maybe it's a business, maybe it's a business plan, maybe it's kind of a relationship, maybe it's, I don't know what. Maybe it's literally a building, right? That we're kind of saying, no, take it all down. I got to start over. Maybe you realize that you kind of made some not the right choices in the past. Maybe we cut some corners or did something like that. So we're kind of thinking, I'm going to clean off. I'm going to get a new canvas, and I'm going to start again. I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to do things in a way that are connected to the point where your choices are kind of in a relative way. I don't believe in any kind of absolute truth, but I feel like the choices are right and correct for you. And I hesitate to use the word righteous, because righteous implies that our choices are judged by our adherence to a kind of a divine principle. That righteousness is saying, well, what I'm doing has, God's sanction to it, right? And that's gotten humans into trouble in the past and still for probably forever. But I think in a very personal and very relative way, I think righteousness is the right word, right? Because you're doing the choices that you believe that have the sanction of your higher self, or the Tao, or God, goddess, deity, ancestor, spirit, guides, guardian angels, whatever you want to call it. Okay? And it leads us to really feel as if I'm making the best choice, the right choice, as far as I can feel the energy. Okay? There's no absolute kind of truth here, but speaking very relatively. And honestly, I think it's working for you with all this water energy. I think that it really is, you're seeing a lot of progress. What do we have next? The Lust card. Interesting with the major arcana. Because I think it really is leading you to this sense of creative power, the sense of agency. Right? Especially with the Emperor and the Lust card. It's kind of like the Emperor knows how much power they yield. Or wield, I guess I should say. The Emperor knows what kind of force it is at the head of. Okay? And that's the Lust card, is knowing what you're capable of and being able to direct it in a very responsible way. See, we got the Lovers, the Emperor, and Lust. It's by your commitment to doing, let's say, what is relatively the right thing, that you're able to have this very happy life, very, very prosperous, very abundant, very connected, right? Better and better and better, all area, very satisfying, very meaningful life. Because you are in control of all of this power, and you're directing it in the right way, right? We think of, the emperor as like the head of the state, right? The president or the leader of a country or something, the king or queen of a land. And they have the force of the entire army, right? All of the knights of that land are at their disposal. It's a lot of power for one person to wield, right? And I feel like that's you in your life. You have the command of all of this. You have the force of the entire universe behind you. And I think that by learning how to make our decisions, intentional choices that are in line, like I said, with the Tao, with your higher self, true self, guardian angels, whatever it is, whatever you call it. By making choices that are in line with that, we are concentrating this power, controlling this power in a way that is bringing you the absolute very best. I sense a lot of prosperity in your life. I sense a lot of happiness in your life. And I guess it comes down to what makes you happy. What is it that you're trying to really do? Have these peak experiences. Yes, we want every day to get better and better, but what does that look like for you? Well, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And it's going to go right here, Mr. Ed the Tiny Horse, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, put it down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free and it helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Let's do general energy. Path of the Serpent, the art card. The art card is interesting. First of all, a lot of major arcana cards. With the art card here, this is a Sagittarius energy. This is the alchemist kind of card. I feel like this card is really us trying to blend together It's realizing that the best kind of dish, I think, is one where there is the right combination of ingredients, where everything is kind of in a certain type of balance or proportion. It doesn't mean that you have to use equal spoonfuls of sugar and equal spoonfuls of salt, right? That's not what it really means. That's not the proportion. That's just kind of a 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. This is about the ratio of things, you know? This is about knowing that life needs a little sprinkle of this spice, but a whole lot of this one, right? And it's your ability to adjust and change, and to know that the real art of cooking is not in following a strict recipe, but in just adding. What does it taste like? You know, what tastes good to you? So to me, there's a big difference between this and, let's say, the Hierophant, and even sometimes the Emperor can be a little rigid like this, right? Thinking that I have to build my life according to this exact plan. But like I said before, this plan doesn't always go according to plan, but that's part of the plan. And so it's this ability to adjust to the environment, to the circumstances, and learn how to adapt, right? Learn how to add a little bit more of this ingredient, a little bit less of that, in response to the environment, in response to what's happening with us and what our growth and our progress and our evolution, what our state of mind is, what day it is, you know, how we feel on this given day. So I think this is a really flexible, approach to the art of living. There's no hard and fast rules for you. It's some days you want to be part of the group, some days you want to kind of be playing by yourself in the group, right? Sometimes you maybe just want to be alone altogether. There's no fixed energy for you. There's no pinning things down, pigeonholing everything for you. There are no recipes in your cookbook here. It's just kind of a general idea. It's almost like for you, the cookbook doesn't have words. It just has pictures. What should it kind of look like for you? And how should that taste? How should eating it make you feel? That's really what I want to see in a cookbook. I don't want to see the exact ingredients listed. Just show me the picture. What is it supposed to look like? Show me, is it supposed to be kind of hot and spicy or sweet and sour, or, what is the experience supposed to be like? Because I can follow a recipe, but I'll get done with a recipe and I'd be like, I don't know if this is what it's supposed to be. I taste it, I don't like it. Is it just because I kind of don't like that dish, or did I do something wrong? Right? You can follow a recipe and it can still turn out completely wrong. Right? And we don't know if that's our personal taste or if it's because, something kind of went wrong along the way. Maybe we're cooking at a higher elevation or something than the people that wrote the cookbook. But this card always reminds me of the kitchen. I think food is a very appropriate metaphor for you. I think that you do love food. I think that you know what you like, and you like to treat yourself. You like to eat what you like. Some days you might like it, some days you might not like that. It's all about the adjustment and the being flexible to yourself and to the environment around you. It's kind of like you find yourself, in a certain place at somebody's house or in a situation, and it wouldn't be what you chose for yourself, but you realize, look, my true self, my guardian angel, God, whatever, put me here. I'm here today, right now, in this situation. Let me figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. What is it supposed to feel like for me? Maybe it's just, just kind of being in an uncomfortable place for a little while, right? Maybe it's it's a test of us to see, can I find something to enjoy about this situation? Can I find a way to make it comfortable? I see we're stuck at the doctor's office and we're waiting all day to see the doctor, right? And it's miserable. Maybe there's some way to enjoy it. Maybe there's some good magazines. Maybe we can have a good conversation, right? There's something, and it's about being flexible and not just, kind of just sitting there being miserable the whole time in life. Realizing that it may not be where I would choose to spend my day, waiting in line for the doctor or whatever. But I'm here, and I must be here for a reason. And I've got to adjust and adapt, and I've got to figure out what I could do to be flexible here. Because, you could be irritable. You could be waiting in line for hours, and you could just be miserable and mad and frustrated, right? We start to get a headache, we're frowning, and it's terrible, right? We're still going to be there. You still got to wait. Or we could just find a way to be okay with it. Then now my head doesn't hurt, I'm not frowning, blood pressure's lower, and I'm still waiting, same amount of time. Which one would you rather be? I think with all this water energy right in the middle, you understand that sometimes life is how it is, and we either choose to be miserable or choose to be okay, choose to find a way to make this at least a little bit tolerable for our own sake and for the sake of others around us. What's around you? Well, the magician, that's you being adaptable. Okay. This is the epitome of adaptability, the magician energy. And it really is that choice, right? It's that choice between being stuck in a situation and just being miserable, and kind of, it shows on our, people know when you're upset, and people, that vibe kind of bleeds out to other people around you. You have an influence on the environment just as the environment has an influence on you. If you're in a miserable situation and you're just feeling miserable and being miserable, it's going to get worse. Then the environment gets more miserable, and that brings the whole vibration down. Whereas we can choose to, back to the choices here, we can choose to be flexible and adaptable and, and have a different vibration. Okay. The Magician also reminds us that just because we can adapt to something doesn't mean we should. Okay, and so that really comes with a sense of agency. And with the Lover's card, we have to be able to control this power. If you're in a situation that is absolutely miserable, and maybe you don't have to stay there and adapt to it. Maybe we need to go somewhere else, right? It's always an option. And there's the Devil card. There is your driving force. There's your ambition. And I think that this card's in the position of the difficulty, because once we get on a particular track of energy, once we get into a particular vibration, it's sometimes not easy to get out of it. Okay, so it could really be a situation where you are learning when it's appropriate to be flexible and adapt, and when it's better to just go somewhere else, right? Because we're making those right choices, and you have to be guided by your connection with the divine, whatever that means to you, your God, goddess, deity, your higher self, your higher discernment, your higher wisdom, your conscience, your higher emperor kind of energy, whatever it is you believe in. That is a lot of major arcana too, by the way. We're being directed, and sometimes we're meant to just stay here, adapt, make the best of it. Sometimes we're meant to just get the hell out of there. Okay? And that's all in pursuit of progress, of these happy life goals, the physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative fulfillment and meaning. It doesn't mean that every day has to be pleasant. Okay? But the Six of Cups, I think, is showing that we're after those peak experiences. We're after this connection and this harmony, which can be found even in those difficult situations. And so maybe we find that it's in those uncomfortable places, those difficult situations, where we have the biggest opportunity to make some magic, right? I mean, you're waiting around for the doctor or whatever, and it's miserable and grueling. Maybe that's a time where you can kind of, with your magician energy, transform that difficult place, that difficult experience, into something that brings this peak experience, that really gives you this sense of connection, right? Maybe that's when you're going to meet somebody that really changes your life, or you're going to have that conversation that just totally inspires you, or, well, see, there's the Fool. There's the inspiration. There's the transcendence, right? And there's a lot of major arcana, my goodness. The Fool is really that energy that's sort of unaffected by things. The Fool stumbles into one thing after the other, into maybe a very pleasant situation or a very unpleasant situation. But either way, just kind of doesn't complain, just does it, follows through with it, stumbles out of it somewhere else. And it's kind of like everything is equal. Everything has value. Everything, especially for following our will, following the will of the divine or something, everything kind of has equal importance. Today was a very pleasant day, and that was on purpose, a higher purpose. Today was a rather unpleasant day. There was something in there. It's either an opportunity that I need to seize, a lesson I need to learn, or just something that I have to endure to strengthen myself, A lot of major arcana. And I think it really is about us learning to transform every moment into I was going to say a blissful moment or a happy moment, but it's not really about that. It's about the meaning. It's about the depth of the experience. It's about the connectedness for you, right? Let's look at the mystery card. Curious about this. I think this is us learning how to be happy, right? Learning how to live a happy life. Learning how to follow our bliss, follow our will, pursue happiness, even in those moments of challenge, right, of difficulty. I kind of want to see this as like either another Nine of Cups, or maybe the physical component, maybe a Nine of Pentacles, right? Showing that we're living our best life, pursuing our goals, our will, our happiness, our bliss, through all the ups and downs of life, right? So following your bliss and pursuing happiness doesn't mean that every day is bliss, that every day is happiness. But that's what we are creating. It's those peak experience. And maybe we can have them day after day after day after day. Maybe they used to be few and far between, but we're learning how to turn lemons into lemonade, really, right? Or lemon meringue pie, as I would prefer. But let's see. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Look at that beauty. 9 of Pentacles. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like this is just that. You're living your best life. It's a life. It's a process. It's an ongoing function. It's a verb, right? It's an odd-numbered card. So it's all about the movement. It's all about the participation in that. And living your best life does not mean that every day is just a pleasant day. We can make every day a pleasant day if we're willing to be flexible and adapt to those changing circumstances and all those variables around us. But if we lament every inconvenience, we're going to be miserable. Okay, so I think your approach to life is shifting. This is a big spiritual reading for you. A lot of major arcana. This is a fundamental shift in your approach to life, and what it means to be happy, what it means to be connected and to have your people, your loved ones, your pets, your plants. Yeah. What does living a meaningful life mean? What does living your best life mean? Well, it means facing challenges, right? It means turning what might be an obstacle into an opportunity for connection, for meaning, for depth. Yeah, I think this is good energy. We're going to do an extended reading too if you want to stick around. There's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Aquarius every Thursday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.